Hey YouTube, what's going on? We're going to be doing the Galaxy S6 Edge glass replacement only. We're not going to be changing out the entire LCD. It seems like all the repair shops they're ordering it. I will tell you from the beginning of the video, this is an extremely complicated repair. Um, you know, one of the most difficult I think I've done, but I was able to successfully pull off the glass from the actual digitizer and put new glass on. Remember that these phones are split up in three. You have the LCD, which is the display, the digitizer, which is the touchscreen, and then the glass. So, for whatever reason, usually when you order these screens, if you're gonna, when they're made like this, they send you, just like how the iPads and tablets are, they send you the glass with the actual digitizer attached to it. That's not the case with these. Um, so, this is my how-to tutorial video on how to pull the glass only off of the phone. So I'm gonna speed up through the whole video because it'll take me a bit, so you guys have a general idea of how you can do the repair on your own. So the way that this screen broke, it shattered in that corner that I'm working on now into 1,000 tiny pieces of glass. So the idea here was, since we have that edge screen, was to be able to use the metal wire to go from one side to the complete other side, as you would with any repair, because it almost seems like using the playing card was impossible, and that's the only reason I'm using this razor blade, because it's the space in between is not enough to to put something like a playing card. Maybe you can use some of my business cards, but just as long as you're real careful with the razor blade. I didn't scratch the LCD at all. So I'm just constantly heating this screen here. What I did notice when I'm doing this repair was that it would get the heat would settle down very, very quick. So it was a constant heat with that gun. Um, but you will see as I get closer to the top, um, I'll be able to finally use that metal wire, and it'll just it's just that much easier. I guess depending on how the phone cracks is how you'll be able to fix it. I was lucky enough to have an incision point with that crack, which is, I guess you just have to find something. And when you get up to the top there, there's no, I don't know, it's not like the other phones where you just pull off, um, where you pull off glass with something underneath. If you notice here, it's just glass like that, where it says Samsung and all that white stuff all around the corners. That's the whole digitizer. Everything else is the thinnest piece of glass. So, I'll just let you guys watch the video here, and I'll come back on when we get to the wire part. All right, now that I was able to get to the other side, um, that edge screen makes it a little bit difficult. The other phones you kind of just you know rip it through and that's it. This one you kind of have to angle it at the bottom. One thing to note here too, the only thing I did do different after all the videos I watched, I did notice that everybody, you know, completely took apart the phone and the back and the battery and everything. And you know, since it's that edge screen, you can't really put it flat anywhere. And since you constantly have to heat it, even using those heat plate machines, I'm forgetting what they're called, um, it's not gonna work. So the best way is to just keep it in its entire casing, and that's the only way that I guess you can pull it off without breaking the LCD. So that's one thing that I would recommend if you're gonna attempt to do this. To don't take off the screen. So, anyways, the only reason I couldn't continue to use a wire here is because of the way that screen cracked, and it made it impossible for me to get through all those tiny shards of glass. So I'm sure for anybody else, it's gonna just be if you can just get the incision point through the top without actually cutting into the digitizer, you'll be able to take that glass off as you would for any phone. You just have to get it real hot, which on this phone you can get it extremely hot without burning anything. You know, much hotter than the S5 and the S4s and the iPhone. So, you know, this whole bottom part for me was just extremely tedious because I had to take off, you know, tiny pieces of glass. By the way, guys, if you like the video and it's helping you, you know, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It did take me a bit to do this video for you guys. You know, I did it for the sole purpose of a tutorial. And like I said, if anybody else wants to, you know, go ahead and attempt it after watching this, feel free to tag me in it so that I can watch it when you guys are done. As soon as I pulled off all this glass, by the way, I will tell you firsthand, it took me forever to take the adhesive off because like I said, you know, and I continue to say, it's just different the way they have this set up, you know, when it's on top of the digitizer. I didn't want to go ahead and use goof off or, you know, none of those adhesive removing liquids because I didn't want to mess up anything on the phone. I didn't know how sensitive this was, so I just used the plastic razor blade and rubbing alcohol, but you know, it took me an extremely long time. And remember, just like all of these phones, when you put the UV glue on, you know, it doesn't need to be perfectly free of everything because the UV glue will set in there and leave a factory. So I'm just going to skip this whole process of me cleaning it. It took me an extremely long time. And we're going to come right back up here. This is the phone cleaned with no glass on it. This is just the digitizer sitting on the actual LCD without the UV glue. This is me showing you guys that it's working perfect. I had no issues with it whatsoever. And I'm going to, you know, zoom it into the camera so you guys can see. It looks exactly, you notice that it's nice. I'm sorry that it's a little dirty. So, you know, I'm just going to continue to clean it until we can get all that gunk off. But like I said, once you put the UV glue on there, you don't see anything. So it's a little different with these. I went ahead and got a green glass for this one. So we're gonna get a real clean here, and you know, I use this pattern for all the phones. It's kind of like a glue stick man, I guess. If you haven't watched repair videos yet, when you put on this UV glue, you want to do it as slow as possible, yeah, to avoid any bubbles, and you want to use that pattern just so it kind of, you know, if you do it in 3 dots or, you know, you separate the glue, you're going to get bubbles. So, you know, just use the same pattern. Notice right there as the glue is settling in, notice all that nasty gunk is going away, and it kind of just leaves it, you know, as it would at the factory. So for all the do-it-yourselfers that are gonna try to attempt to do this repair, I guess my only recommendation would be to check the description. I don't personally sell any of these parts. I'm sorry, not the actual glass on the website, but I do sell the other stuff. So, you know, feel free to take a look at what you are going to need. The glass, I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. I'll see if I can find the link for you guys. And, you know, just know that it's not impossible to do it. Just be real patient, and you'll be able to pull the glass off on its own. So I'm going to get, once you dry it real good here with the UV light, I am going to turn on the phone here. You guys are going to see that everything's working perfect. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. All the apps were working. And I used the green glass just to show that I did just fix the glass. I didn't want anyone to say that, you know, we just fixed the LCD. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Like I said, give me a thumbs up if you like it. Please subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.